All right, so now we're on to number 7, and the instructions for this section are to sort the graphs into groups. We're going to write the letter of the graph in the group box, and some graphs belong to more than one group, so don't worry if A appears here, and A appears here, or here, and here. It's all okay. I was just making that up, so please don't write A all over. But yeah, just in case one of your graphs appears in all 4 boxes, that is totally acceptable, that is totally fine, okay? So in order to do this, there's a lot of graphs, right? And I want you guys to have some practice too, because if you don't get to practice and I'm not doing my job, that means you're not actually learning. So I'm gonna leave you a lot of the graphs to do. What we are going to do is we're gonna focus in on 4 graphs. So I'm just gonna choose that we focus on graph A, graph B, not C, D. We're gonna go also with graph E and graph F. So we're gonna focus on these 4 graphs, and you guys have to sort the rest of them, okay? So we are going to sort A, B, E, and F together. That's why I highlighted those. Okay, so first of all, let's check to see if A, B, E, and F are functions. So remember, how do we check for a function? We use the vertical line test. I'm gonna draw a vertical line, and we're gonna see if I drag this vertical line, will it ever touch more than 1 point? So let's drag it through. All right, now we're touching 1 point, 1 point, still 1 point, still 1 point. So far, so good. Still 1 point, still 1 point, still 1 point. All right, we dragged it through graph A, and throughout the entire time, the vertical line only touched 1 point. That means graph A is a function. So I'm gonna put A over here. Leave a lot of space, okay, because you don't know how many other graphs you're gonna have to write in this section. So I put the A all the way in the corner. Okay, oops, my bad. Let's take that line again. And I'm going to not zoom in, my bad. I'm gonna try to drag this line. Okay, there we go. Let's drag it through line B. Let's see if it ever touches more than 1 point. 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. You get the picture. It's all 1 point, so B is also a function. Okay. Let's see if, let's focus on A and B so far. Oops. So that way, you guys can do E and F, and then we'll check E and F together, okay? So we just found that graphs A and B were both functions. Now let's take a look at graph A and B to see if they have a maximum or minimum. Let's start with graph A. So are there any bendy areas in graph A? A point that's lower than everything else? A point that's higher than anything else? Let's take a look. I see this point in graph A. This point is lower than everything else. It is an absolute minimum. It's an absolute minimum, which means we can put A into that box because it has an absolute minimum. Now let's take a look at graph B. Does it have an absolute minimum? Is there a bendy point, or does it kind of just go on forever? All right, hopefully you're realizing that this arrow on the very bottom means it goes on forever downwards, and this arrow at the top means it goes on forever upwards. There's no bendy point here, it's just a straight line. There's no absolute maximum or minimum, so we cannot put B here, so do not put it there. Okay? Let's check to see if graph A is increasing only. So can we put A into this box over here? Let's take a look. So remember, when we read the graphs, we read it from left to right. So I'm gonna highlight it just so that we can see. Starting from the left, we're going down, 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 down. If we're going down, does that mean increasing or decreasing? That means decreasing, right? And then we go up, 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 up. That means we're increasing. So in graph A, we both decrease and increase. So is it increasing only? No, because it does both. Okay, so then we cannot put A there. Let's take a look at B. Start from the left and go towards the right. We're going down, 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 down. Okay, if we're going down, are we increasing only? No. Good, so we are actually, if we're going down the entire time from left to right, that means we are decreasing only. So graph B fits into this decreasing only box. All right? Okay, so I know that was a lot for our 2 examples, but I'm going to give you guys some time, and then you guys are going to work on E and F, and then we're going to reconvene and see how you guys did. Don't worry if you make mistakes. That's okay. That means it's a challenge. That means you are pushing yourself to grow and learn more, okay? So if you make a mistake, that's okay. We're going to pause the video now. All right, now we're unpaused. So let's see how you guys did for E and F. Don't worry if you made any mistakes, okay? Just want to make sure you know that. Let's start by seeing if E and F are functions. So we're going to draw a vertical line. Vertical line. And now let's drag this line, see if it's going to ever touch more than 1 point. We're touching no points right now. Suddenly we're touching 1 point. No points again. Another point. No points again. Oops, what's happening here? Oh, I guess it's good that we're zoomed in. Let's drag it right here. How many points are we touching here? We are touching 1, 2. This is 2 points. If we are touching 2 points, is that a function? No. So can we write graph E into this box? No, because it's not a function. Take it away, there we go. All right, now let's take that line again. We've already checked E. Oops, let's get rid of that. We've already checked E, we know it's not a function. Let's check graph F. Will we ever touch 2 points? Nope, so far so good. So far so good, so far so good, and we're clear. So graph F only touched 1 point. That means graph F is a function. Okay, now let's check for maximums and minimums. Okay, so taking a look at graph E, it's going to be a little bit confusing because, because graph E is just a bunch of little dots, right? So let's see, is there an absolute maximum / minimum? That just means, is there a point that's higher than everything else? Let's take a look. Let me highlight this point. This point, is it higher than every other point in the graph? Yes, this point is an absolute maximum. Also, is this point lower than every other point in the graph? Yes, so this is a minimum. So graph E actually has both a maximum and a minimum. So let's write that in. So your maximums and minimums, they don't have to be bendy. They usually are, but they don't have to be a corner or a bendy point. They can literally just be floating points that are lower or higher than every other point in the graph, okay? Now let's take a look at F. Does F have an absolute maximum? Take a look at this arrow. It's going up forever, okay? So there's no absolute maximum because you can get to a really high point and then you can just also go a little bit higher than that because that arrow says it goes up, up forever. Now take a look at this arrow. So graph F is a little bit confusing because it looks like it's going to the side, right? But the secret with this type of graph, when you see a graph with this shape, it's actually going downwards. It's going down really, really slightly, okay? So I do not blame you if you got this wrong, but this does not have an absolute maximum or minimum. This one continues going upwards forever, so no maximum, and continues going downwards forever, so no minimum, okay? All right, now let's take a look to see if it's increasing only. Let's check out these graphs. I'm gonna erase my arrows and stuff. There we go. We're gonna read E from left to right. From left to right. It looks like we are going down. So if we're going down, that means we are not increasing only, we're decreasing only. So let's put E over here. Now let's read F. Start from the left, go to the right. We're going down, 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 down. Remember, even though it looks like it's going to the right, it's actually going down. So if we're going down, 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 are we increasing only or decreasing only? Decreasing only. Okay, so now we were able to sort graphs A, B, E, and F onto our chart. Now it's your task to sort graph C, D, G, H, I, J, K, and L into this chart, okay? So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I will be happy to help.